Single-player games are dead. Long live single-player games.
Or are they? That's what we're talking about today on Your Daily Nerd. How's it going, everyone? It's Kyle Faveras from Your Daily Nerd, and today I want to talk about something I've heard discussed quite a bit recently. There have been a lot of people who think that single-player, story-focused games are on the decline in favor of multiplayer games and other, quote, games as a service. This topic really sparked discussion after the closure of Visceral Games. This included a press statement that said, quote, "Our Visceral studio has been developing an action-adventure title set in the Star Wars universe. In its current form, it was shaping up to be a story-based linear adventure game. Throughout the development process, we have been testing the game concept with players, listening to the feedback about what and how they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot the design." Now, obviously, this would imply that EA, in their mystical wisdom, doesn't believe that a single-player adventure game would appeal to a mass audience in the same way that a game like Destiny would. And honestly, they're right. However, this doesn't mean that single-player games are going to go extinct. The notion that that is even possible just sounds too hyperbolic to be true, especially when you consider the top games that were released in 2017. For example, if you look at Polygon's top games of 2017, the top 10 were as follows. 10 was Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, 9 was Everything, 8 Horizon Zero Dawn, 7 Prey, 6 Persona 5, 5 Resident Evil 7, 4 Nier Automata, 3 Super Mario Odyssey, 2 PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and 1 Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Notice that there's only one multiplayer game on this list. And that's not an isolated example. Take a look at Giant Bomb's top 10. 10 was Dream Daddy, 9 Tekken 7, 8 Night in the Woods, 7 Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, 6 Destiny 2, 5 Cuphead, 4 Super Mario Odyssey, 3 Nier Automata, 2 Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and 1 PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Just who the fuck are you, white boy?
Stay calm. Let me first make it absolutely clear that I am not a Nazi.
What you say? You say you're a Nazi?
No, I am not a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi, okay?
You ain't a white-ass fascist Nazi pig, then you're either colored or you're a deviant. Now you sure as hell ain't colored, so you trying to pass as a deviant? You look like a deviant to you, Sister Grace?
Nope.
Hang on. I may not be a deviant.
God, I told you he's a goddamn Nazi!
Oh, fuck this.
Motherfucker!
Let me say this again. I ain't no goddamn Nazi.
While they have 2 more multiplayer games on their list than Polygon, that still leaves the overwhelming majority of the top games of the year as single-player focused games. As long as single-player games continue to dominate as the best things to play on gaming systems, they aren't going anywhere. Finally, my last big argument against the so-called death of single-player games is the massive multiplayer game grave that has amassed over the years. Of course, games like PUBG, Fortnite, Dota, and League are hugely successful, but just because you have a good concept for a multiplayer game doesn't mean you'll have a long-lasting successful game. You don't believe me? Look at Lawbreakers, a first-person shooter game that had a solid amount of hype behind it when it released back in August of 2017. According to Steam Analytics, it is now down to a peak of 8 total players in a 24-hour period. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite released in September of 2017 and had the potential to be a huge fighting game win for Capcom. Hell, Marvel vs. Capcom is a historic franchise. Now they have a peak of 40 players per day and are getting their lunch eaten by Dragon Ball fighters. Battleborn was another game that had a fairly large following. However, after getting steamrolled by Overwatch, that game shut down support a mere 15 months after launch and now has a 24-hour peak of 81 players. Speaking of MOBA-like games, check out Gigantic and Paragon being shut down. Paragon had a sizable following being an exclusive MOBA on PS4, but still announced the shutdown of their servers before they even hit an official 1.0 release. Even though they hit their 1.0 launch in July of 2017, Gigantic didn't fare much better considering they ceased development and discontinued the servers at the end of January. So no, single-player games are not dead, and they're not going to die anytime soon. Sure, multiplayer games will continue to have success, but that has no bearing on whether or not single-player games have the possibility of being just as prosperous. The relationship between the two styles of play don't correlate with each other. So continue to purchase and play single-player games with no fear. They aren't going anywhere.